If one person's opinion can ruin your evening, you have handed them authority they never earned. A dismissive comment, an unanswered message, a doubtful expression, or the feeling that someone has misunderstood you can follow you long after the moment itself has passed. The conversation ends, yet the mind continues defending itself before an imaginary court. It searches for the perfect reply, predicts what others may be saying, and tries to repair a reputation it cannot fully see or control. The Stoics treated this problem with unusual precision. Epictetus begins the Enchiridion by separating what belongs to us from what does not. He lists our opinions, pursuits, desires, aversions, and actions as things within our control. Among the things outside it, he explicitly names reputation. That word matters. Reputation is not your character. It is an impression of your character formed inside other minds, using incomplete information, personal preferences, past experiences, moods, loyalties, and expectations. You influence that impression through your conduct, but you never possess it. Even a truthful explanation can be doubted. Even excellent work can be ignored. Even a kind act can be interpreted badly by someone determined to see it that way. This does not make reputation worthless. The Stoics described health, resources, relationships, and a good reputation as preferred indifference. Preferred means they may reasonably be chosen and cared for. Indifferent means they do not determine whether a person is morally good. A trustworthy reputation can help you cooperate, serve others, and fulfill responsibilities. Losing it may be painful and practically damaging. Yet praise cannot make dishonesty virtuous, and criticism cannot make an honest action corrupt. This distinction allows care without dependence. You may speak clearly, repair mistakes, keep promises, and protect your name where justice requires it. You can do all of that without making your peace conditional on unanimous approval. Marcus Aurelius asks, in the Meditations, "Is such a thing as an emerald made worse than it was if it is not praised?" He places the emerald beside gold, ivory, a flower, and other things whose qualities do not wait for applause. His point is not that people are objects. His point is that genuine quality exists before anyone announces it. An honest decision remains honest when it is unpopular. Patient work retains its value when nobody notices. A fair response does not become unfair because someone wanted you to take their side. The practical question is therefore not, how can I make everyone understand me? It is, what quality must I preserve while I am being misunderstood? Wisdom separates useful feedback from noise. Courage allows you to hear criticism without collapsing or retaliating. Justice asks whether another person has been affected and deserves an explanation, apology, or correction. Moderation prevents one opinion from expanding until it fills the entire mind. These four virtues do not need to be recited every time someone looks doubtful. They simply provide a reliable standard when approval becomes confusing. Suppose someone criticizes a decision you made at work. Reputation asks, do they still think I am capable? Character asks, was the decision careful, honest, and responsible? If the criticism reveals a mistake, good character welcomes the opportunity to correct it. If it reveals a difference in preference, good character explains what is necessary and allows the difference to remain. If it is careless or malicious, good character protects appropriate boundaries without borrowing the critic's carelessness. The Stoics did not teach that all opinions should be ignored. They taught that opinions should be weighed rather than worshipped. Advice from a wise friend who knows the facts deserves more attention than a stranger's quick judgment. A repeated concern from people affected by your behavior deserves investigation. Praise from a crowd that rewards vanity may deserve very little. The number of voices does not determine the quality of their judgment. This evening, bring one troubling opinion to mind and describe it in a single, factual sentence. Someone disagreed with your choice. Someone did not respond as warmly as you hoped. Someone may have formed an incomplete view of you. Keep the sentence plain. Then ask what part is yours. Perhaps listening, clarifying, apologizing, improving, or simply continuing to act well. Once that action is identified, reputation returns to its proper category. You may prefer that others see you accurately. You may work honorably toward that result. Their final judgment remains theirs, while the person you choose to be remains with you. That is the first freedom of this practice. You no longer need to settle every opinion before the day can be complete. You need only settle the quality of your own next choice. Other people's opinions gain power when the mind accepts them before examining them. A sentence arrives from outside, and almost instantly it becomes an internal verdict. I am impressive. I am inadequate. I belong. I have failed. The Stoic discipline is to slow that conversion. Epictetus writes, "Remember that not he who gives ill language or a blow insults, but the principle which represents these things as insulting." This is sometimes mistaken for permission to tolerate cruelty. It is nothing of the kind. Harmful conduct may require distance, consequences, or protection. Epictetus is identifying the second event that occurs inside us. After words are spoken, our judgment decides what those words prove about our worth and what response must follow. He continues, "Try, therefore, in the first place, not to be hurried away with the appearance. Time and respite create room for self-command. Before replying to criticism, ask, what exactly was said? Which part is factual? Which part is interpretation? What response would still seem right tomorrow?" This protects you from both blame and praise. Flattery can hurry the mind away as easily as insult. If criticism makes you desperate to prove yourself, praise may make you desperate to repeat whatever earned it. In both cases, another person begins directing your choices. The early Stoics used the word passions for overpowering disturbances driven by mistaken judgments. Fear that treats an external loss as a moral disaster, craving that treats approval as necessary for happiness, pleasure that celebrates something unworthy, or distress that declares a dispreferred event unbearable. They also recognized good feelings, rational joy in what is genuinely good, caution toward wrongdoing, and a well-directed wish to act honorably. Stoicism is therefore not emotional numbness. It is the education of emotion through clearer judgment. You may feel the first sting of criticism. That first movement is human. The practice begins with what follows. Do you turn discomfort into rage, shame, or hours of mental rehearsal? Or do you use the feeling as a signal to examine the impression? A practical method is to place the comment into one of three categories. The first is true and useful. Accept it with gratitude, even if its delivery was imperfect. The second is partly true or uncertain. Ask for detail, gather evidence, and postpone the verdict. The third is false, irrelevant, or offered without knowledge. Let it remain an opinion, rather than making it your identity. Epictetus gives demanding advice in section 13 of the Enchiridion. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things. He is not recommending deliberate ignorance. He is warning that genuine improvement often looks unimpressive to people using a different standard. Declining an argument may look weak. Living below your means may look unambitious. Changing your mind may look inconsistent. Refusing gossip may look unfriendly. Choosing long-term character over short-term applause can make you appear foolish to those who value the applause. There is a useful test here. If nobody could know about this action, would you still choose it? Would you still help, practice, apologize, create, or tell the truth? The answer reveals how much of the motive belongs to character and how much belongs to performance. Seneca understood the pressure of collective opinion. In Letter 7, he describes how a crowd can disturb qualities that have only recently become calm. He advises Lucilius, withdraw into yourself as far as you can. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you, yourself, can improve. He is not asking us to despise people or hide from society. He is asking us to choose influence deliberately. Today, the crowd can enter a quiet room through a screen. Approval, outrage, comparison, and certainty arrive without invitation. The Stoic response is not necessarily to abandon every public space. It is to notice what repeated exposure is training you to desire. If an environment makes you hungry for status, quick to condemn, or anxious to perform, reducing that exposure is an act of moderation. If a community strengthens honesty, courage, learning, and service, participation may support virtue. This is where the idea of circles becomes practical. First, circle the present. Set aside what people might say tomorrow and return to the facts available now. Then circle yourself, your judgment, intention, words, and next action. Inside that circle, act carefully. Outside it sit the private conclusions of other minds. Tonight, examine one piece of praise and one piece of criticism from the day. Receive whatever truth each contains, and release the demand that either one define you. Praise may encourage you. Criticism may instruct you. Neither is qualified to become your ruler. Freedom from opinion does not require indifference toward people. Stoicism describes human beings as rational and social. We are built to cooperate, communicate, teach, learn, and contribute to a shared life. The goal is not to become unreachable. It is to remain useful without surrendering judgment. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminds himself that people exist for one another. That principle prevents a selfish misuse of the dichotomy of control. Another person's opinion may be outside your command, but your responsibilities toward them still matter. A partner may deserve honest communication. A colleague may need reliable work. A friend may need to hear an uncomfortable truth with kindness. A community may rightly expect fair conduct. The distinction is between consideration and obedience. Consideration listens. Obedience to opinion automatically changes direction whenever approval rises or falls. Consideration can apologize without self-contempt. It can disagree without hostility. It can accept that kindness and universal approval are different goals. Epictetus writes, "If you ever happen to turn your attention to externals so as to wish to please anyone, be assured that you have ruined your scheme of life." The wording is severe because the dependence is serious. When pleasing becomes the governing aim, reason is replaced by prediction. What version of me will this person reward? Which truth should I soften? Which boundary should I abandon? What must I pretend to enjoy? That pattern may produce temporary harmony, but it also produces resentment and confusion. Other people learn to relate to a performance, while the performer feels increasingly unseen. Stoic honesty offers a steadier form of connection. Speak with respect. Explain what can be explained. Keep agreements you have freely made. Allow another adult to dislike a reasonable boundary. Justice matters especially here. I do not control their opinion cannot become an excuse to ignore the effects of your behavior. If several trustworthy people describe the same harmful pattern, wisdom investigates it. If you caused damage, justice repairs what can be repaired. Courage admits the truth without hiding behind philosophy. Moderation keeps remorse useful rather than turning it into theatrical self-punishment. At the same time, justice includes fairness toward yourself. You do not owe every critic a trial, every stranger an explanation, or every demand compliance. Attention is finite. Give it according to relevance, knowledge, relationship, and consequence. Seneca closes Letter 7 with a striking instruction. Your good qualities should face inwards. He does not mean they should remain private or benefit nobody. He means their direction of judgment should come from an internal standard of reason and character. A compass can guide a traveler precisely because it does not swivel toward every spectator. Imagine 3 circles around an opinion. The nearest contains informed people who share responsibility. Listen carefully. The second contains those affected indirectly or offering expertise. Consider their evidence. The outer circle contains spectators with little context or responsibility. Give their reactions proportionately less authority. Now add the view from above, a perspective used throughout Marcus Aurelius's reflections. Rise above the room, building, and neighborhood. See thousands of people protecting reputations and revisiting remarks. Rise farther and see cities exchanging praise and blame, each judgment urgent for a moment and soon replaced. Relationships still matter. The wider view simply restores proportion. Marcus writes about the emptiness of applause and the changeableness and want of judgment in those who pretend to give praise. He also points to the narrowness of the space within which it is circumscribed. Applause comes from a small number of people within a short period using standards that continually change. Building a life upon it means building on moving ground. This makes brave social action possible. You can present an idea knowing it may be rejected. You can correct a mistake without trying to control whether forgiveness follows. You can say no without composing 10 imaginary defenses. You can publish honest work and allow the audience to decide what to do with it. Before any socially difficult action, use a reserve clause. I will speak clearly and aim for understanding if circumstances allow. I will make the strongest, honest contribution I can, while accepting that reception depends on more than me. This preserves commitment without pretending to own the outcome. The result is neither people-pleasing nor careless defiance. It is social courage, the ability to remain fair, teachable, and useful, while allowing other minds to remain free. The mind often tries to solve reputation at the least useful time. Late in the day, with limited information and lower energy, it reopens a brief expression or unfinished conversation and demands certainty. Tonight, instead of arguing with every imagined opinion, give the concern a clear Stoic review. Begin with the event, stripped of interpretation. State only what an observer could verify. A decision was criticized, a message received no reply, or a group responded quietly. Notice how the event changes when prediction and mind reading are removed. Next, identify the impression your mind added. They think, I am incompetent. I have disappointed everyone. Their praise proves I am successful. Treat the sentence as an appearance to examine, not a command. Epictetus tells his students to say to every harsh appearance, "You are but an appearance and not absolutely the thing you appear to be." The phrase creates a small but decisive distance. An impression may contain truth, but it has not yet earned certainty. Ask what evidence supports it, what evidence is missing, and whether the matter belongs to your character or to reputation. Then, sort the concern. If there is useful truth, convert it into one action. Clarify the decision, improve the work, offer the apology, ask the question. If no action is available tonight, schedule the next reasonable step and stop rehearsing it. If the opinion is unsupported or irrelevant, let the absence of action be deliberate rather than helpless. Now, bring in the four virtues briefly. Wisdom asks what is actually known. Courage accepts truth and tolerates disapproval. Justice considers what others are genuinely owed. Moderation limits the time, explanation, and emotional energy given to the matter. Choose the virtue most needed. One is often enough. Next, circle the present. For the next few minutes, exclude tomorrow's imagined conversations, next month's reputation, and every possible interpretation. Include only this room, this evening, the information available, and the action within reach. The present is small enough to handle well. Then, circle yourself. Inside the circle, place your judgment, intention, speech, conduct, and willingness to learn. Outside it, place applause, gossip, misunderstanding, popularity, and the final verdict of other minds. This is not a wall against people. It is a boundary around responsibility. If the concern still feels enormous, use the view from above. See the building within the city, and the city beneath the night sky. Everywhere people are praised, blamed, misunderstood, corrected, and forgotten. The wider view preserves your duty while removing the claim that one opinion is the whole of life. Marcus Aurelius gives himself a practical instruction. Fix your eyes on the work before you. Remember the duty to be a good person, and do what seems most just without turning aside. That is the alternative to reputation management. Return to the work of being honest, useful, patient, and brave. Let the quality of the action face inward, even when its effects move outward to help others. End with 3 questions. Where did I act from character today? Where did I let praise or criticism choose my mood? What will I do tomorrow that would remain right even if nobody applauded? Answer specifically. Perhaps you listened without becoming defensive. Perhaps you exaggerated to appear more capable. Perhaps you withheld a reasonable boundary because you feared disappointment. Recognize the lesson without turning the review into another performance. The purpose is training, not self-condemnation. Epictetus writes near the end of the Enchiridion, "Don't regard what anyone says of you, for this, after all, is no concern of yours." Read carefully. This does not remove accountability. What others say may contain information and consequences. What remains no concern of yours is the impossible task of controlling their private judgment after you have acted wisely and fairly. A good reputation can be welcomed as a preferred outcome. Use true criticism, endure disapproval when the action is right, and enjoy praise without making it necessary. The day can now be released without winning every case in the imaginary court. Keep the lesson, choose the next action, and return each opinion to the person whose mind contains it. Your character remains yours. It is built through judgments nobody sees, promises kept without applause, corrections made without drama, and fair actions taken when resentment would be easier. Reputation may follow, or it may not. The work remains. Tonight, Allow the emerald to be an emerald without asking the room to confirm its colour. Let wisdom examine, courage act, justice repair, and moderation bring the review to an end. Other people are free to form their opinions. You are free to meet tomorrow with a steadier purpose, receptive to truth, useful to others, and governed by the character you continue to choose.